from Seattle. Jamie says, my salespeople are also estimators and project managers. They find the work to bid, work up the estimate, negotiate the sale, and work with the client through the job. They're all good at numbers and bidding. Some of them are good at sales, but many are not your traditional extroverts and have a tough time drumming up new work. What should I do to teach more introverted and analytical minds to be better at sales? How do you encourage them to leave their office and meet new people?
So the question has biases all the way running through it. And the bias is, if you're an introvert, you're screwed when it comes to business development and selling. and people that are tuning in on this that have seen me on the stage may be up for a revelation here, but I am, there's hardly anyone that is more introverted than I am. And yet I've had a historically giant success rate as a salesperson. So please don't put your bias and negativity on introverts not being able to sell effectively. Look, the answer to this from my perspective, one is people can't get good at something unless they've trained and practiced. So all the things that they're doing and they're good at right now, if you're asking them for doing business development, have you identified best practices? Have you trained them with best practices? And are they actually practicing, not on the prospect, but before they hit the prospect? So there's an investment there in terms of getting the people ready to do that. The second thing that I wanted to inquire here was, what percentage of the time of these people that are doing the estimating, negotiating, working with the client, what percent, that's their time right now. What percent of the time are you seeking for them to allocate to business development? You have to be really clear with me if I'm in that role. Do you expect me to be doing 20% of my time, 50% of my time? Because that changes the dynamic of the quality level that I'm going to deliver on what I'm now delivering, since what I'm now delivering is 100% of my time. And then the third component for me is, and look, there are different schools of thought on this. I happen to be very bullish about getting compensation right for the salespeople, and there are different thoughts that are circling around out there. There are books written about it, that people don't work for money and all of that type of thing. I disagree. And when I go out and I have a conversation with the top 25% of salespeople, no matter what country I'm in, if I told them, well, there's current thinking going on that it's provocative, that that compensation is not what you get up in the morning for if you're a sales guy. It's way beyond that. And all they want to do is just laugh me out of town. So what are you doing with these people that are doing estimating and negotiating and all the rest of that in their current role? What are you doing compensation wise for me from a business development standpoint? So those components, training, percent of time, and compensation, I think are the three variables that I think you need to deal with.
I love that, Jack. I'm gonna add to that, Jamie, and say, for me, it really does start with, how much do you want to lean into the idea that your current set of estimators and project managers actually need to generate new business? If the decision is they absolutely have to, well, then first and foremost, there's probably an element around sales culture that will need to change. Because if the sales culture is, we don't really do new business here, then it doesn't matter what we tell people to do. They're not going to behave contrary to what the sales culture is. Who is leading the charge in your organization? Who is setting the example? Are you setting the example? As one of your senior people setting the example, showing your estimators and project managers how to go out and be magnetic for sales? I hope you can't hear that, but I'm having this construction happening next to us. I'm hoping this microphone is doing its job and canceling that out. So there's a cultural issue that needs to be addressed, which I would encourage you to look at. Secondly, as we've said earlier in this talk, sometimes you can't judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree. Sometimes an estimator or project manager with the best will in the world is just not going to be a hunter. And you might need to consider hiring a business development team, an outside sales team that goes and finds the opportunities, brings them back. And then what we want to do is make your estimators and project managers exceptional at being account managers and farmers, about increasing the share of wallet with every single opportunity so that we have that discretionary income and profit to be able to fund the front end that we're adding to the process, and to coach them on how to ask for referrals so that we have new business being generated out of our existing bids. If either one of those two options is not 100% what you're after, then I'll give an example of something that I've done with a number of my clients. I spent about a decade of my life in the commercial construction industry. We still have many, many clients in construction, engineering, and manufacturing where they have exactly this challenge, where they don't have a quote unquote traditional sales team. One of the things that we've helped a couple of our clients do is we leverage the senior people in the team, yourself as the founder, any senior people that are willing to go out and find new relationships, find new, what we would call swim coaches, you might call centers of influence or referral partners, warm up those relationships and then hand them over to your estimators and project managers. So effectively, we're leveraging your internal resources to make sure that there's new relationships coming in. But here's the difference. When I say centers of influence, you can either go out into the market and try and find customers one at a time. That's going to be difficult and you're going to have a glass ceiling when it comes to scaling your business. Or you can do what so many of our customers have done, and I know Jack has done in the real estate business, is find what we call swim coaches. Find those people that can refer a lifetime worth of business to you, even if they themselves never buy from you. And those are the relationships that you can hand over to your estimators or project managers. They can farm those relationships, they can develop those relationships, and one company or organization like that might give one of your estimators millions of dollars with the business over a period of time without them ever having to make a cold call.